Hey everybody, Matty here with Altcoin Buzz. Happy Thursday. Hope you're having a great one today. We are July 2nd. It is day one of the Cardano Summit, and as such, we are doing a full run through of Cardano. What is ADA? Taking a look at its history, taking a look at previous milestones, and really giving you the complete run through of this project, including an introduction with its founder. So we'll take a look at Cardano in depth. Let's first take a look at the markets, however, on CoinGecko.com. As you can see, we're up 0.5% on the day today, $264.9 billion. Bitcoin still in the low 9K range, $9,189. That's up 0.4% at the time of this recording. Cardano, which is the star of the show right now, so to speak, it is up 10.8% in these last 24 hours, currently sitting at $0.93 or about 9.3 cents. That's also up 12.9% on the week. Bitcoin dominance right now at 63.8%. Okay, let's get right into it with this piece on dex.openledger.io, a history of Cardano and its ADA coin. If you've never heard of Cardano at all before, well, it's a public blockchain and smart contract platform supporting the ADA cryptocurrency, but this altcoin's singularity stems from the fact that it is based on scientific philosophy, academic theory, and peer-reviewed research. So Jeremy Wood and Charles Hoskinson are the co-founders of Cardano. Hoskinson is a self-described cryptocurrency entrepreneur, and he also happens to have co-founded Ethereum and endured a bitter split. Hoskinson's mathematics background is evident in the choice of appellation for the platform, which is named after Girolamo Cardano, an Italian polymath and physician known for the first systemic computations of probabilities. Basically, there are three legs, if you will, that support the tripod that is Cardano. So there are three organizations specifically that support the blockchain. They are the Input Output Hong Kong, IOHK, as we refer to it colloquially and most often, the Cardano Foundation, and number 3, Emergo. A big part of Cardano's mission is to meet the needs of the unbanked around the world and globally. So at heart, Cardano is still about driving access to those unbanked 3 billion souls and potential for blockchain in Africa. And many would say the advantage of blockchain technology to assist in countries where lack of access to banking is acute is compelling for Hoskinson, who's on a mission to help educate people in lesser developed countries about the technology and how to use it as a tool. Hoskinson says, quote, "Why are cryptocurrencies important? Well, if you have the patience and desire and also the appetite for failure and experimentation, and you're willing to have a bit of courage and go into the developing world with an arc of time, several years, maybe a decade, you can actually teach people how to use this tech and make it theirs." Again, as I mentioned, really the key players in terms of co-founders are Charles Hoskinson, currently the CEO of IOHK, and Jeremy Wood, founder and chief strategy officer. Of course, as I mentioned, there are three key legs, three key components to Cardano and what it's all about. You can learn more about that here on cardano.org/partners, the Cardano Foundation, Emergo, and IOHK, each described here and explored in pretty significant detail. The team behind Cardano, and actually IOHK and Emergo, all of those teams are fairly huge. In fact, here as you can see for IOHK, there are 90 developers listed in the development section of the IOHK team, and that's just one particular section. So as you can see, it's a very significant project in terms of the number of people, the number of minds that are contributing to it really on a daily basis. So here's an introduction as to why Cardano is being built in the first place on cardano.org/why, how appropriately. In the spirit of many open source projects, Cardano did not begin with a comprehensive roadmap or even an authoritative white paper. Rather, it embraced a collection of design principles, engineering best practices, and avenues for exploration. Some of the following are reflective of that. So the separation of accounting and computation into different layers, the implementation of core components in highly modular functional code, small groups of academics and developers competing with peer-reviewed research, heavy use of interdisciplinary teams, including early use of InfoSec experts, fast iteration between white papers, implementation, and new research required to correct issues discovered during review, building the ability to upgrade post-deployed systems without destroying the network, development of a decentralized funding mechanism for future work, and some others, including a long-term view on improving the design of cryptocurrencies so they can work on mobile devices with a reasonable and secure user experience. And I think that point specifically speaks to the goal of serving the unbanked and the underbanked of the world, those 3 billion people that I mentioned mentioned earlier. And here now on Cardano's forum, they're talking about some of the issues that really remain quite ubiquitous in this space, not only for Cardano, but challenges that other projects are facing as well. So scalability, of course, is at least one of the holy grails, if not the holy grail, that we're going after, perhaps after adoption, but that's a point that I'll leave up to debate perhaps in the comments below. But they go into detail here explaining the blockchain trilemma, which is something that I think most of you are familiar with. But if not, the famous blockchain trilemma is one of the biggest hurdles for cryptocurrencies. That's because the trilemma is basically a triple of properties by which we can judge the quality of a distributed network. And it's effectively impossible to be a master or an expert across all three of the nodes of the trilemma simultaneously. So these features are the scalability discussed earlier in this article, the degree of decentralization, and security. And Cardano has been through a lot. They've been through their fair share of trials and tribulations as well. This article goes back to October of 2018. Cardano Foundation removed as partner from Cardano project's development and business arms. We reported on this at the time. However, according to Cardano.org, apparently they are still the legal custodian of the protocol and the owner of the Cardano brand. And Cardano's also been through many milestones. This article from March of 2019, so over a year ago, Cardano ADA reaches significant milestone with Cardano 1.5. So taking a look back at all that they've been through, we can now kind of take a snapshot of where we are currently with the Shelley era of Cardano that is being unveiled really as we speak right now. And you can see that all of these different timelines, all of these milestones from Byron all the way to Voltaire are named after historical figures. So at least you can be assured that there's an intelligent team with some esoteric selections as far as naming behind the scenes. I think that always makes it more interesting. And the Shelley era of Cardano specifically is a period of growth and development for the network. And unlike the Byron era, which began at a single point in time when the mainnet was launched, the transition to Shelley is designed to achieve a smooth, low-risk transition without service interruptions. You guys can check out the Gauguin, the Basho, and the Voltaire so-called eras of Cardano as well. We'll link to this in the description below if you'd like to explore that further. However, right now, guys, sponsorship helps cover production, research, and website hosting costs. And so now we'll take a quick word from today's sponsor.
Today's video is sponsored by AAX, the world's first cryptocurrency exchange to be powered by the very same engine that powers the London Stock Exchange. In this tutorial, I will use AAX to explain what long and short futures are by demonstrating a leveraged trade. Please note that leveraged trading presents high risks and is not recommended for beginner traders. Entering a leveraged trade is not the same as buying Bitcoin. Rather, you take a view on the future price of Bitcoin and trade contracts which derive their value from Bitcoin. You pay not only a transaction fee, but also a funding fee which is relative to the number of contracts you purchase and the amount of time you hold them for. Let's say I want to buy Bitcoin on leverage. I'll purchase 10 contracts, which is equal to $10 worth of Bitcoin using 2x leverage. After I click long, this window comes up showing me my liquidation price. What this means is that if the price falls below $6,310, I will lose the full $10 worth of Bitcoin which I invested into this trade. Now that I've executed this position, you can see the P&L, which shows the profit or loss which I'm in for the trade currently. Using 2x leverage, I'm in 0.47% loss or 251 sats worth of loss. However, this loss is only realized after I close this trade, or if the price falls below $6,310. And now, back to Matty.
You may remember in March of 2020, so earlier this year, a couple months ago, Cardano was actually involved in some litigation. They were sued by a former research partner. That's broken down here on Cointelegraph.com if you'd like to revisit that story. However, moving forward and very quickly, Charles Hoskinson's response was a dismissal of those claims. It was revolving around an IP rights dispute in the Z-Yen lawsuit. Moving right ahead, April of this year, 2020, Deadalus 1.0 was revealed by Cardano. This was by Rachel, our article on altcoinbuzz.io. And by this time, if you think about it, this really was 18 months. So the culmination of 18 months of development, which led to the Deadalus 1.0 mainnet wallet, which was no small milestone or feat of accomplishment. In fact, looking back on Cardano and everything that has transpired leading up to this Shelley Cardano summit, there's so much that's been going on. We've been covering Cardano pretty closely, actually, because it's really been a favorite. ADA has been a favorite of the altcoin buzz army. So, just going through some of the articles here, we've talked about their potential Coinbase listing. That's been more recent. Of course, we've been big proponents and big cheerleaders of this virtual summit that's happening today and tomorrow. Of course, when Cardano's IOHK joined Hyperledger's consortium, that's also something that we were quite excited about. All kinds of different news relating to not only Cardano and the foundation, but IOHK as well, Emergo as well. And most recently, we've interviewed exclusively Charles Hoskinson. So we'll close with that at the end of the video. But needless to say, and from a very organic, non-sponsored perspective, we're big fans of Cardano's work. We're big fans of their vision and what it is they hope to accomplish in this world and with cryptocurrency. And we think that their mission is a noble one as well. So check out this for a whole listing of really the full set of our Cardano featured articles on the website on altcoinbuzz.io. And of course, if you're not aware, the Cardano Virtual Summit is happening right now, July 2nd and 3rd. You can attend virtually and for free to take a look at everything that the summit purportedly has to offer. You can check out this piece by Deepika from back in June. Cardano announces Shelley Edition Virtual Summit. Again, I want to remind you guys, as I mentioned, if you're free, if this isn't already on your radar, you may want to check it out because you can attend, number one, virtually, and you can attend for free. And very likely there are some big announcements that are going to be addressed during this particular summit. So it's probably worth tuning in if you're free and you can spare the time.
When we get to millions to billions of users, there's going to be millions to billions of transactions and millions to billions of utilities and things going on. And so the system will be just simply too large for any one actor to possess the whole thing or run a full node.
And finally, guys, just want to remind you, if you haven't already checked out our exclusive Altcoin Buzz interview with Charles Hoskinson, we're going to link to it in the description below. Here it is. Leia really did a great job. It's a 45-minute interview, a back and forth discussion. She asked some very, very interesting questions. And as always, Charles Hoskinson was quite insightful. So if you haven't checked this out yet, do be sure that you take a look. We'll link to it in the description below. But that about wraps it up for today, everybody. A full overview of Cardano. Hope you enjoyed. Do be sure you're following us on all the regular social media channels and keep checking back into altcoinbuzz.io for all the latest. Go ahead, like, subscribe, share, and hit the bell, of course, to receive notifications if you've enjoyed today's video. Best of luck if you choose to invest on this Thursday, everybody, but have a great one. And as always, we do hope to see you again soon in our next video. Take care.